Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a fun experimental lesson where I'm just going to be taking some markers, some acrylic tip markers. This is Gravy, this is their brush tip markers. And I'm going to be showing you a really fun technique where we'll be drawing a larger creature, but it doesn't really matter what you're going to be drawing. The point is, it's about experimenting with the shape, and then after that you can add some ink to the picture and really have something pretty unique. Now the other fun thing about doing this is it feels like you're painting, and I want you guys to just experiment with the brush strokes. So if you have some acrylic paints with you right now, if you have gouache, whatever you have, I want you to start plopping down some shapes and not really caring about the end result. And I think from that you're really going to get something pretty neat. Okay, so you can see here that I am throwing down a thumbnail sketch per se, and there's no real end goal to it. My initial thought would be, hey, let's throw some lines together and let's see if anything neat comes up. So you've heard in my other lessons, allow yourself to fail. Don't worry about making everything perfect based on what you initially see in your brain. That is a recipe for disaster, because what happens is we overcompensate in the sketches and we overcorrect, and then we start making shapes that we didn't intend but we think should be there. This way you can start drawing shapes that you don't really care what happens with, and then that allows your brain to loosen up and make some shapes that you probably never thought you could before. So like this, I don't know what's happening. I'm drawing these cool things like these brush strokes, and we'll see what happens. Now the cool thing about the Gravy marker tips is it's acrylic based. You can check the links in the description below. I've given a full lesson on this before, but we won't get into depth about Gravy today. But if you're interested, check out the links in the description. They're water-based, non-toxic, quick drying, like they're really cool. Okay, but anyway, kind of looks like a sphere with legs growing out of it. You can see here that each brush stroke that I put down, I have I guess a shape in mind that I like. I knew it was going to be a quadruped creature, but it stops there. I'm not really picky about what's about to happen. And in turn, I'm not stressed out about it. There we go. I'm going to talk about what I mentioned before about allowing yourself to fail. That's going to be a pretty big theme going forward for my channel and all the lessons that I give. So you probably have a sketchbook in front of you and you're drawing. And you're either trying to draw what I'm doing right now, or you're just making something up and just listening to me. Catch yourself trying to perfect the little markings that you're putting down right now. Just look down and go, did I try to make that perfect? If you did, then I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to say to yourself, it's okay if I mess up. And by doing so, you're probably going to be much more calm moving forward, because when you allow yourself to mess up, it opens your mind up to new ideas. For example, newer shapes that you didn't know you can make. Okay, it's already drying too. That's what I love about it. I don't know what this creature is, by the way. Alright, so I'm just going to put the lid on here. I'm going to use the lighter end. I'm just going to place that up top here. Okay, so the lighter end, I'm just applying some highlights. Really fun. I love this kind of method. And you guys know me by now. I tend to do most of my thumbnailing in traditional media. For example, ballpoint pen, graphite, all the old school stuff. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It just feels better when I do it traditionally. All right. Okay, let's see. So now I'm going to see what happens if I add some silver to it. Look, you guys are witnessing this. I don't know what's about to happen. Let's see what happens. Okay. All right. Well, so far we have a shiny critter. I don't know how that's showing up. Maybe it's dark in some spots. If I tilt it, you can see how the light's hitting it. Okay, so it looks like it's darker now. All right, cool. I'm just going to leave it. I don't care. So maybe if it's showing up darker, then I'll just use that in the underbelly. And then once it dries, I'll use it to my advantage. There we go. Okay, so we're going to let that dry a moment. Okay, now that we let it dry a little bit, now we're going to add the ink from the ballpoint pen, and then we'll see what happens. Just going to tilt it a little bit so the light hits it differently. You can see how the shine takes away and there's a little bit of darkness there, but that's okay because we're going to add in some shapes with the pen, and we'll see what happens. So when I'm looking at this, I'm going, this would probably be a cool spider creature. But then when I put on the eyes, I just want to make sure that instead of just putting it in random places, I'm putting it in places where the creature could actually look around and use them properly. So for example, maybe the larger eyes are up top and then they kind of filter off to the smaller ones. Maybe over here. Yeah, maybe there. Okay. This just feels so old school. It's so much fun. We're going to put in some teeth, and these teeth are going to make the creature not so friendly. So we'll see what happens. Maybe there's like a small mouth there and it's not a huge mouth. Maybe the head itself actually can move a little bit. So we'll just put an indication of some lines here for articulation. I'm also going to add in some color on this, and I don't know what's going to happen when I do that. So you're going to witness in real time whether or not it's going to be a complete failure. And if it's going to be a complete failure, I'm not going to edit it out. I just want you to show that even somebody who's been drawing for decades in the industry for a long time can still screw up. Embrace the failures, embrace the change, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so at least I have the original gray foundation for the body, so I know what the shapes are doing. I am having a bit of a trouble with the shine on that silver part, because to me it looks silver when I look at it over here, and then when I dip the page like this, it's like, oh, showing up dark. So I think that's just the shine that they intended to have in the light, which is totally fine. It did say that. The other thing is when you have experiments where brush strokes kind of go off of the edges, you can still tighten those edges up with a pen if the majority of the line is showing up. So for example, if you look over here at the ankle, you'll see these large brush strokes kind of hanging off in the air. But you know the leg is solid, so how are you going to draw that? Just choose the largest shape that you see that you can outline, and then just outline it with the pen. So any of the brush strokes that hang over, you can leave them there. I guess you can leave them there for style points. I don't know how else to explain that. There we go. Alright, so the underbelly, creature needs a chest of some sort. A little torso under there. It's a very skinny creature, but it's probably very fast, so you don't want to mess with it. It looks deadly with all the sharp teeth. Looks like it has a pretty big, powerful jaw. Rounded, but powerful. Nothing too aggressive. And then really these gestural strokes that I'm putting in with the ballpoint, they just up the ante a little bit. And they put in some needed texture. It probably could look cool. This is why you should keep things very simple, especially the feet. Put in some claws there. There's a claw. There we go. Okay, that looks kind of neat. And really in the background here, you don't need to worry about much stuff. Because that that leg back there, it's in the background. You don't need to worry about it. Now I could go back over this with a darker shadow marker and we can see what happens, but I need to figure out what is going on with these things poking up. And at first I thought, whoa, wouldn't that be cool if this creature was, I don't know, trying to evolve into an alien bird and we just caught it in its evolutionary state. And you gotta add in those eyeballs over there. Every time I draw a creature with multiple eyes, I always think of the spider creature in Beyond the Aquila Rift for Love, Death, and Robots. That's my favorite episode of the entire series. Love that episode. Very frightening too. 150 plus light years away from home, you can't get back, and then the creature is actually sympathetic towards humans while it eats you. Never seen that before, or heard of that before. Okay, it looks like I put a mouth crease with the eyeballs on the actual jaw. Anatomically, I don't know how that's going to work, but since this is a creature and we're just kind of making stuff up as we go, let's roll with it. Okay, you know what this means. I'm going to attempt to put some color on here, but I don't really know what color I want. So I'm thinking this is a cool gray that I used. Let's use some red. Let's use some red. All right, so I found this tone. We'll see what happens. So let's put it on some of the pieces of skin. Maybe this creature is toxic in nature, lives in a cesspool of gross acidic liquid. I'm just going to hint at where I could put some of the stuff. Now here's the thing. Since these markers are quick drying, I can paint over top of the ink that I drew and then come right back to it. Because even if I colored it over, I can always draw back on top of it. That's the beauty about these things drying fast. Okay, so this is pretty nasty. It looks like a creature with blotches in the skin. Maybe it is toxic, maybe it lives in a wasteland. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun to do stuff like this. So we're just going to go to the bottom here and then do a lighter version of it. Okay, we'll put in some pink in there. And I think outside of the pink, I will probably add some green to show a sickly type of skin tone. There we go. So there's the pink. And go back over the red. Okay, there we go. It just feels like I'm painting. It feels really good. This is such a fun experiment to do. So I encourage you all to get some acrylic markers and try this. There we go. I think for the lip region, we'll probably want something that is a little darker and almost dried blood colored. Now, on top of gray, it's probably going to need a little bit more of like a pinkish treatment right around the lip, and then we can get darker red. So once we got that, let's try, I'm reaching over behind the camera here trying to get some cool colors that we could use. Let's do this one. Let's see what happens. Now it looks like it's pretty cool in skin tone, and I can just flush in some gray around that. Okay, I do like that combination. Now, when you saw me paint originally, I had the ink on top of the gray, so the gray was down first. That's my foundation or local tone. All right, so you probably heard that in fine art before. You got your local color, you got your local tone. Tone usually comes with drawing, color usually comes with painting. You know, comment below if you're a fine artist or you took fine art in school, and let me know if they still teach the local colors, like what you do in a bigger illustration piece. Because I know even in digital painting we have to go over that. There we go. You can start to see the layering effect with the paint. Alright, that's a lot of fun. Okay, and then once we got that, then I can start looking for some colors for the eyes that maybe are really intimidating. Let's go this dark. Okay, that would be kind of freaky. So what I'll do is I'll color the bottom of the eye like that, but I'll leave a little bit of an opening so the undertone that I used before in the gray can come out as a highlight, like a little speck highlight. I don't want to go pure black only because I try to avoid using all black. The inside of the mouth is going to be all black to show the area where the least amount of light is penetrating, and I think I want to keep that black. You know, there's always some kind of color in the eye. Even if you look at great white sharks and squid, those black, merciless round eyes, it's pretty freaky. And now that I'm doing these eyes, I'm assuming that there's no real cornea, no iris, no pupil. Well, it's probably one just giant pupil, but there's nothing really to show that there's, I don't know, color in the eyes one bit. Okay, now let's see what we can layer on top of that part. There we go, it's a little bit lighter. Okay, and I don't know how much this is actually showing up on the camera. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. And you're probably seeing it for yourself too. So I'm going to go back in with probably this pinkish tone. I'm just going to fill in some of these gaps around the eye. Who would have thought that I would use pink in a creature? I think pink is a very underrated color. Not just with painting, but clothing too. I think you can pull off pink. I know a lot of guys don't like wearing pink, but some do. I think it looks really good if you do it correctly. It's like purple, you know, purple, it's not really hated on, but not a lot of people wear purple. You see the common combos like red and black. That always looks good. Okay, so let's see what we can do with that area. And I know that I want to put in some browns in that area. So we're going to go with this tone first. I'm just opening this up on the side of the camera. Alright, so it looks like the skin right near where an eye socket would be are collecting a little bit of the shadow of the pink. And there's still some color reflected in there. Also, maybe it's a messy eater. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at that. It's so much fun. I'm going to go back over the entire gray to see if I can put a nicer highlight on there. I think, you know, for the white, maybe the skin itself has a sheen to it. But you don't want to go overboard with white, just like you don't want to go overboard with black. Because when you go overboard with white and you start mixing it in with colors thinking it's a lighter version of it, that only is true with certain colors. You know, if you needed to make a light pink, just add a white to it. But if you need to brighten up like a purple or a brown or even something earth tone, it can kind of muddy it out. But now the white will sit right on top of the black eyeballs and give it a nice little pop. So it looks like there's a real speck highlight hitting that and there's moisture on the eyeball. There's nothing better than when you successfully sketch an eyeball and it actually looks, for lack of a better word, moisturized. There we go. Just little spots there and there. Okay, maybe in the back here. Okay. Oh, this is so much fun. If you're following along with me, you know, I welcome you. Thank you for stopping by my channel, and hopefully you're learning something valuable today about art. And if you're sketching along with me, then I hope that your artistic journey is that much better once you're done. Check out the links in the description for our Creature Design Workshop Discord. It's a bustling community. We just passed 5,000 members. I think we're nearing 5,200. It's crazy how much it grows. But all the artists in there are aspiring artists. They're intermediate. They're advanced. Everybody's coming together to help each other out. We have monthly creature design challenges. We have critique forums. We have a huge reference forum. We have thumbnailing daily. You can take pics of your cat if you want. You know, everybody needs a picture of a cat every now and then. You know, we take pics of our offices where we're working out of. Like, it's just a lot of fun. Okay, and this tone is looking pretty good on top of the gray, so I think I'm going to keep it. Okay, there we go. Maybe hint at some color down on the leg. You can see what I did here, where I added in that dark shadow. I think I'm just going to keep it like that. I'm not really going to worry about anything else. I'm going to go back to that original gray I had. And I'm going to see if I can... Yeah, I don't like that too much. So I think I'm just going to let that dry. And I'm going to go back over. I'm going to add in some more details on the face. Already dried. Look at that. There we go. Now that has a more distinct, clear outline, I think we're good. I mean, now that I'm drawing this thing, subconsciously, creatures that I grew up seeing in movies are really coming out. So, for example, in a movie I just rewatched a couple months ago, just for nostalgia's sake, is Invaders from Mars, directed by Tobe Hooper. Those of you that grew up in the 80s know what that movie is. Tobe Hooper is, you know, the director of Poltergeist, director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But he made this cool alien abduction movie called Invaders from Mars, and I believe they're going to make a remake soon, so I hope so. But the aliens in there, it's hard to describe. It's like big, rounded, fat aliens with creepy legs, and they look like high heels. I'm not joking, so I changed the feet on these. It's kind of funny to see. All right, and just to finish up what I was talking about, I also run a private mentorship if you want to learn more skills in drawing, reference gathering, creature design, character design, environments, you know, concept art, just being an overall better drawer, if you want that. I'll offer that too. My email is bobbyrebholz@gmail.com, and I'd love to discuss it for you. With you, I should say. Okay, another thing that I want to add on this is, you know, this chicken leg limb, I guess you could call it that. This is definitely out of perspective. I didn't mean for this one over here to go off to a vanishing point. I was just randomly putting these on. So I think what I'll do is I'll just add another one on the side and then maybe have smaller ones growing off of it. Because these look like little tufts of hair that can grow out from it. So maybe asymmetrically I can start putting in some that are growing off of the body so that it's not as predictable. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to let that dry here for about 20 seconds, and then it'll be okay. So I'm just going to put the cat back on this. Make sure I do this correctly here. Okay, it's already dry. I can trust that. So I'm just going to put an outline in of that. Follow my pen up. And then up here I could probably do for some more gray, but I think I'll just leave it. You know, maybe just give a quick outline to the top of the head to show that that's in the foreground. Okay, and then there are some places around here where I know I can darken just to give a little bit of oomph to the silhouette. Right around there. I'm using very controlled bursts of thick to thin lines. There we go. Also, my recording is not complete without lawn care suddenly showing up in the neighborhood. So you'll probably hear a leaf blower outside or some kind of small or large lawnmower. So we'll see what happens. All right, folks, so if you're interested in my mentorship, be sure to email me at bobbyrebholz@gmail.com. Also, one other thing is I've been teaching creature design for film and games as an online class for Computer Graphics Master Academy for better part of 8 years. And we have early sign-up periods going on now. So if you check the links in the description below, you can see the classroom portal where you can check out the syllabus. It's a big classroom. The winter session starts in January, and you have plenty of time for the early sign-up period, but spots do fill up rather quickly. So we cap the classrooms at 20 people. So don't hesitate. Definitely check that out. Hopefully you got a lot out of today. This is just such a fun little experiment if you guys are feeling a creative block and you don't really know how to tackle your sketchbook. Adding a little bit of color like this, a little bit of experimentation, you're not really worried about how things are going to turn out. It's so much fun. I really appreciate everybody that has stuck around my channel for as long as you have. You guys make it what it is, and I couldn't have accomplished anything without you guys. So it's an honor. I love teaching, and I hope that, you know, those of you that are suffering from depression or suffering from any kind of creative block, or you think that you can't draw at all, hopefully my little thumbnail lessons and my years of experience are coming through to help you see the light of day. All right. Thanks for watching this, and you know we can't leave without me asking you to go down to the comments and name this creature. I see some pretty awesome names. So do that, have fun with it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.